Hello, my name is Sara, and today we are going to explore the concept of growth loops and how to build them for long term success. Before we begin this presentation, let me introduce myself. In the last 12 years, I've worked in different roles across marketing and product in some prominent tech companies such Google, LinkedIn, Rakuten, and Adevinta, focusing on product development, go-to-market strategy, and product growth. I'm also a guest lecturer at the Sade Business School. So let's take a look at the topics that we will cover in this talk. First of all, we will look at what growth loops are, how they are structured, and what are their characteristics. Then, we will understand why they are so powerful and how high profile companies have used them to drive exponential growth. Lastly, we'll dive into the process of building successful growth loop. But what is a growth loop? In a nutshell, a growth loop is a self-sustaining cycle where an initial user action leads to more users, engagement, or value, which then generates more action or inputs, causing continuous growth. Each step in the loop fits into the next, making it scalable and sustainable over time. Essentially, it is a way to grow organically with minimal external effort once the loop is set in motion. But let's look at what the component of a grow loop are. So we usually have an input or loop trigger that is the user initiated action that starts the loop. For example, a new user sign up. This will be followed by the engagement. The user interacts with the product and the product delivers value to the new user. And this point is quite important because if the product will not be able to deliver value, then the engagement will not happen. Because a value has been delivered, we will have an output that is an action that the user will perform. For example, the user invites or refers others. Finally, we will have the reinforcement, where more users will be brought to the loop. New and existing users are incentivized to perform the same action and start the loop again. Now, let's look at the characteristics of a growth loop. So, a growth loop is self-reinforcing. So, each action or user behavior triggers more of the same, creating a continuous cycle of growth without external input. It is sustainable. So once established, growth loops maintain momentum over time with little ongoing effort needed to keep them running. They are scalable. So as the loops grow, it can handle increasing number of users, leading to exponential growth. And they are cost effective. Growth loops rely on organic user behavior, for example, sharing, referring, making them a low cost growth strategy compared to traditional marketing. But let's dive deeper. What we see is that growth loops are able to create multiplicative effect, high engagement, and a continuous cycle where the loop doesn't have a definite end. It repeats and compounds, keeping the growth process going over time. These characteristics make growth loops a powerful and efficient tool for business aiming for scalable organic growth. So, what is the difference then between growth funnel and growth loops? So, growth funnels are basically a marketing concept while growth loops are mainly a product concept because the users are at the center of it. If we compare the two, we see that growth funnel is a linear process. A growth funnel is a step-by-step progression where potential customers move through distinct stages, for example, awareness, acquisition, retention, for then generate revenues. On the other side, growth loops are self-reinforcing cycle. A growth loop is a continuous cycle where one action leads to more of the same, which then triggers future growth. For example, users refer others, increasing the user base. We also see that in um, the funnel itself requires continuous external input, such as marketing campaigns or ads, to drive each stage of the funnel itself. And let's face it, customers are less and less receptive to advertising. On the other side, if we look at the loop, we see that a minimal external effort is required because once the loop is set up, it sustains itself with little ongoing external input, and the growth is organic. If we look at the growth funnel, we see that each new user is typically acquired through one-time action, like ads, promotion, and once they make a purchase or conversion, they exit the funnel. On the other side, if we look at the growth loops, we see that each cycle builds on the previous one, leading to scalable and exponential growth. Finally, we see that looking at the growth funnel, the funnel depends on external efforts like pay ads, and scaling often requires more investment in advertising or outreach. On the other side, the ongoing engagement is the base of a growth loop. So, growth loops rely on user behavior, such as referral or content creation, to keep the cycle going. But yeah, grow loops, there are different types of grow loops, and grow loops can come in various types, each leveraging different aspects of user behavior and engagement to drive continuous growth. And here are some common types of growth loops. So the referral loop. In this case, existing users invite new users, often incentivized by rewards or benefits. And this leads to more signups, creating a continuous loop of growth. A good example in this sense is Dropbox referral program, where users get more storage for each friend they invite, and new users sign up, continuing the cycle. We then have content creation loops. In this case, users create content that attracts other users to the platform. As more users join and engage, the amount of content grows, which in turn attracts even more users. A good example is YouTube. Users upload videos attracting more viewers, which encourages more content creation, perpetuating the loop. We then have the viral loops. In this case, users share content or product with others, and those new users are encouraged to engage and share as well. This can create a rapid viral growth. A good example is TikTok. In this case, users create videos that get shared on social media, attracting new users to the app, who then create their own viral content. We have then the network effect loops. In this case, the value of a product or a service increases as more people use it, encouraging new users to join. More users lead to a better experience for everyone. A good example in this case is Facebook. The more friends and connection you have on the platform, the more valuable and engaging it becomes, which draws in more users. Let's look at the product usage loops. Users engage with a product, which leads to increased value and encourages further use, often resulting in users sharing the product with the others. A good example is Slack. As teams use the product for communication, they invite more team members to join the platform, expanding their user base. And they can even invite more people belonging to other companies. We then have the feedback loops. In this case, user behavior, review or feedback or ratings leads to product improvements or personalized recommendations, which encourages users to engage more or invite others. An example could be Amazon. Customers leave reviews or ratings which help improve the product or inform other users, leading to higher engagement and more purchases. We then have the social sharing loops. In this case, users share product experiences, content, or purchases on social media, driving awareness and new user sign-ups or purchases. A good example in this sense is Instagram. Users post photos and stories that get shared, attracting new users to join the platform to share their own content. Community building loops. In this case, users engage with a community or network which encourages others to join and participate. As the community grows, so does the platform value. An example could be Reddit. As users contribute content and discussion, the community grows, leading to more posts and even more user engagement. Finally, we have the subscription loops. In this case, users sign up for subscriptions, for example, premium content or features, which not only drives revenue but also encourages new users to join for similar benefits. A good example in this case could be Spotify. Users subscribe to premium account, which allow for better user experience and additional feature, attracting others to subscribe as well. So let's look now at some success stories and how loops has been used to enhance product success by some leading companies. Let's start with Airbnb growth loop. So in this case, we see that the structure is quite simple. Hosts list their properties on Airbnb, creating inventory for potential guests to book. Guests book these properties, generating engagement on the platform and paying for the service. After the stay, guest leaves review, which help improve the platform trust and credibility. Host also leaves review for guests. So we then have the social sharing and word of mouth. Happy guests share their positive experiences with others on social media, attracting new users, both hosts and guests on Airbnb. So the new users, both hosts and guests, join the platform after hearing about Airbnb and start the cycle over again. In summary, Airbnb growth loops thrive on user generated content, reviews, trust building, and referrals, which fuel an ongoing cycle of new hosts, new guests, and continuous engagement. Let's now look at Duolingo growth loop. So in this case, a user signs up to learn a language on Duolingo. The user completes lessons, earns rewards, and gets personalized reminders to keep learning. Then we have the social sharing. As users progress, they share achievements on social media, inviting others to join or competing on leaderboards with friends. Duolingo then encourages users to refer friends in exchange for rewards, such as extra feature or progress boost. So friends and followers join the platform, starting the loop over again. Duolingo growth loop thrives on user engagement, social sharing, and referrals, creating a viral cycle that drives both user acquisition and ongoing activity. Another very popular case in which a grow loop has been used successfully is TikTok. So in this case, users create and upload short, engaging videos on the platform. As a video gets shared, they attract more viewers and engagement, likes, comments, shares, likes, and then we see the algorithm boost. So TikTok algorithm promotes videos that perform well, showing them to more users, increasing exposure and attracting new users to the platform. Viewers are encouraged to create their own content, keeping them engaged and contributing to the cycle. As content spreads virally, more users join TikTok to watch or create their own videos, fueling the loop. TikTok Grow Loop thrives on viral content, algorithmic amplification, and social sharing, leading to rapid user growth and high engagement. And finally, let's look at the Uber Grow Loop. So in this case, a user takes a Uber ride or become a driver. Then we have the engagement. Uber provide ride credits for both the referee and the referee after the new user complete their first ride. Then the referee is encouraged to invite more friends and share the app, while new users are also motivated to refer others to earn free rides. We finally have the reinforcement. So, as new users are referred and use the app, they start sharing it with their own network, continuing the loop. All this company has been extremely successful mastering their growth loop in order to establish themselves. But how to build your own growth loop? Building a growth loop is a systematic process that involves creating a self sustaining cycle where user actions lead to continuous and scalable growth. And let's see. So, first of all, the first step will be identify your core action. The first step is identifying a key action that users need to take, which will drive your growth. This action is at the heart of your growth loop and should create value for both the user and the business. So, what action do you want the user to take? This could be, for example, signing up, completing a task, referring a friend, creating content, or any other activity that people are happy to do and that they will push the cycle forward. The second step will be create an incentive for the action. To encourage users to take the core action and eventually to continue the cycle, you need to offer incentives. The incentive must be valuable enough to motivate users to engage with the product and share it with others. So, what motivates users to take action? You can offer rewards, extra features, discounts, or access to exclusive content or benefit. Then we have the step three, design for shareability and virability, and measure and iterate. So, for your grow loop to expand, users need to easily share their experience or invite others. This is where virality and shareability play a huge role. Your product or service should be designed to make sharing effortless and rewarding. And of course, what is very important is to measure and iterate. So once your grow loop is running, it is essential to track and analyze how it's performing. Identify key metrics such as user acquisition rates, engagement level, etc. is fundamental in order to ensure the loop is functioning effectively. So, what metrics should you track? Common grow loops metric includes conversion rate, referral rate, retention rate, and viral coefficient. Finally, you have to refine and scale the loop. As you track and analyze data, you'll identify areas of optimization. You may find that certain aspects of the loop need fine tuning, or that new feature or incentives could improve the loop's effectiveness. So, how do you improve and scale the loop? You can use A B testing, user feedback, and data analysis to optimize the loop. Once you find what works, scale it by increasing marketing effort or adding new features to make the loop even more powerful. But let's look now at some key principles for successful grow loops. So, first of all, we need to consider the initial setup. Creating a grow loop requires careful planning and user behavior design. Therefore, you have to take it into consideration while crafting your product. You also need to use balance, so ensuring that loop doesn't depend too much on any source. For example, user invites to prevent stagnation. You also need to work on quality control. The loop can bring in lots of users, but they may not be all be high quality. So balance is key. Finally, you have to work constantly on your tracking and analytics. You need to monitor the loop to carefully optimize it. And on that note, measuring the success of a grow loop is crucial to understand whether your loop is operating effectively and driving the desired result. To do so, I suggest a few key metrics and indicators that you can use to measure the success of your growth loops. Of course, you can use many more metrics, but I believe from my experience that these are the most important. The first one is the cycle efficiency. So, how quickly does the loop generate new user? Then, I think one very important metric is the user growth rate. In this case, this rate is the rate at which your user base is growing over a specific period of time. For example, weekly, monthly, and this is important because this metric help you track the speed of growth over time. So a healthy growth loop should drive a steady increase in user. For example, if you had 1,000 users last month and 1,500 users this month, the growth rate will be 50%. So not bad. Then we have the viral coefficient, the K factor. So the viral coefficient measure how many users each existing user brings to the platform. And this is important because a K factor greater than one means that the loop is self-sustaining and growing exponentially, while a K factor less than one means that the loop isn't growing and on its own, and it requires external input. So, for example, if each user refers to people and 50% of these people convert, the key factor will be one. So, it's going to be good. Retention rate. So, in this case, the retention rate is the percentage of user who continue to engage with the product over time. This could be measured weekly, monthly, or according to other intervals. So this is important because high retention indicates users are engaged and likely to participate in the growth loop. For example, referring others, sharing content. If retention is low, your growth loop may struggle to gain momentum. We are almost at the end of this talk, and I would like to leave you with some key takeaways. So, for me, grow loops are a powerful tool for business looking to drive sustainable organic growth. And by leveraging user behavior and creating a cycle of engagement and referrals, business can scale without relying on constant external effort. But the most important takeaway is that remember the key is to make the product or service so valuable that users are naturally incentivized to engage and share. Thank you very much for your time and see you soon.